I was never a talker. Never the player who gave you everything in a press conference or told you what was really happening inside. That wasn't who I was. You played your tennis, you shook hands, you went home. The court was where the conversation happened. Everything else was noise. But people keep asking. 40 years of tennis, playing it, watching it, living inside it, and the question never changes. Who was the greatest you ever faced? Who made you work in ways nobody else did? Who walked on that court and made you think, today is going to be different? 5 players. 5 names I can give you now without the careful diplomatic version I would have offered when I was still competing. This isn't about rankings or statistics or the debates that tennis fans will be having long after all of us are gone. This is just what I saw from the other side of the net. What I felt in matches that pushed me somewhere I hadn't been before. The honest answer to a question I've been asked 1,000 times and never fully answered until now. Andre Agassi. I have to start here because there is no honest version of this list that doesn't start here. Andre and I were rivals for over a decade. We played each other 34 times. I won 20, he won 14. People look at that number and think they understand the rivalry. They don't, because the number doesn't capture what it actually felt like to play Andre Agassi when he was at his best. His return of serve was the finest I ever faced. And I say that as someone whose serve was the primary weapon of my entire career. The thing that gave me free points, the thing that set up everything else. Against most players, my serve was a problem they never fully solved. Andre solved it. Not every day, not in every match, but in the matches where he was fully locked in, where the intensity was right and the timing was right, and he was standing inside the baseline taking the ball earlier than anyone had any business taking it. He took my biggest weapon and turned it into a neutral exchange. That should not have been possible. I know how hard I served. I know the angles I could hit. And yet there were matches, 1994 US Open Final, 2002 US Open Final, where I watched my best serves come back at me with interest and thought, this man is doing something that defies what I understand about tennis. What made it harder was the psychological element. Andre was never passive. He came at you from the first ball, no feeling out the match. No cautious opening games. He walked on court ready to dismantle you immediately, and he had the tools to back up that intention. Playing Andre meant you were never comfortable, never in a position where you could just execute your game plan and trust the results. He made you think, made you adjust, made you earn every single point in ways that players who rely on natural gifts find exhausting. We pushed each other to be better. I know that. The rivalry made both of us more complete. But the honest truth, the answer I give now when nobody is keeping diplomatic score, is that Andre Agassi was the most uncomfortable opponent I ever stepped on a court against. And discomfort at the highest level is the closest thing to greatness that tennis has a word for. Stefan Edberg. Stefan was the player I modeled myself on before I understood what modeling meant. The serve and volley game, the movement at the net, the one-handed backhand that went exactly where he intended every single time. I watched him as a junior and thought, that is how tennis should be played. That is the complete game. Then I played him professionally and discovered that watching greatness and competing against it are entirely different experiences. His serve and volley game in person was something else. The anticipation at the net was extraordinary. He positioned himself based on where he expected the passing shot, before you had decided where you were going to hit it. Volleys that should have been difficult were routine. Angles that should have been impossible were available to him because his positioning made them available. He didn't react to situations. He created them and then executed within them. 1992 US Open Final. He beat me in 5 sets. I was 21 years old, playing some of the best tennis of my life, and he beat me in 5 sets on a hard court, his second best surface. I walked off that court frustrated in the specific way that only happens when someone beats you not through luck or circumstance, but through quality that you have to acknowledge, even through your disappointment. That match shaped me, showed me what the complete game looked like when it was fully operational. Everything I built in the years that followed, the efficiency, the elimination of unnecessary shots, the discipline to execute under pressure without adding risk. I measured against what Stefan had shown me that afternoon at Flushing Meadows. He made me better by being great before I was ready to handle it. That is the highest compliment one player can give another. Boris Becker. Boris was physically intimidating in a way that very few players were. The size, the power, the serve that came from a body that generated pace in ways that physics suggested shouldn't have been possible from a human being with a tennis racket. He came at you from the first ball, and he came hard, and the only appropriate response was to come back just as hard. Our Wimbledon matches were wars. He won in 1995, one of the best matches played on center court in that decade. I won in 1999 in 4 sets, back and forth across years of competing on a surface that suited both of us and brought out the best in both of our games. What I respected most about Boris, what made him genuinely great rather than just genuinely talented, was the heart. He played every match like it was the last match of his life. No conserving energy, no tactical patience, everything available immediately and at maximum intensity. That approach burned bright and sometimes burned out. But on the days when Boris was fully present, when the intensity was controlled rather than scattered, he was capable of tennis that nobody else on the tour could match. Wimbledon, 1995. He beats me 6-7, 6-2, 6-4, 7-6. I'm the defending champion. He plays a serve and volley game of a quality I haven't faced on grass before or since. Precise, powerful, relentless. There was nothing I could do that day. He was simply better. And acknowledging that, sitting with the specific discomfort of being beaten by someone who was simply better, is something that either makes you stronger or doesn't. It made me stronger. Boris Becker made me understand that dominance is not a permanent condition. You earn it every single time you walk on court, or you discover you don't have it anymore. Ivan Lendl. Ivan was already past his peak when I came on tour. Our overlap was limited. But what I observed of Ivan during those years, and what I studied of his career as someone who understood the professional game, left a deep impression that shaped how I approached my own career. Ivan Lendl decided what excellence looked like and then built it deliberately. The fitness that turned professional tennis preparation into something the next generation recognized as the standard. The baseline game constructed for maximum efficiency, the mental approach that treated every match as a problem to be solved rather than an experience to be survived. He engineered a career the way an architect engineers a building, with blueprints and timelines and a clear understanding of what the finished product was supposed to look like. 8 Grand Slams. Years at world number 1. Dominance over an era that included McEnroe and Connors, genuine champions, not placeholders. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because someone decided to be excellent and then showed up every day and was excellent regardless of how they felt or what the circumstances were. I took that lesson seriously. My own preparation, the physical conditioning, the tactical discipline, the routine that I maintained through years of competing was built on understanding what Ivan had shown the generation before me. You didn't have to be the most talented. You had to be the most prepared. Ivan Lendl taught that lesson to everyone who came after him, whether they acknowledged it or not. I acknowledged it every day of my professional career. Roger Federer. This one is different because Roger came after me. He is the one who surpassed my Grand Slam record. He is the one who made 14 look like a beginning rather than a conclusion. And I want to be honest about something. Watching him do that was not always straightforward. Records matter. You build them over years of sacrifice and commitment, and they represent something real about what you gave to the sport. Roger made 14 look like a stepping stone, and my respect for what he built is genuine and complete. What Roger did, that nobody before him had quite managed, was make the highest level of tennis look inevitable. Not easy. Nothing at that level is easy, and anyone who played it knows that. But inevitable. Like the point was always going to end the way it ended. Like the outcome of the rally had been determined before it began. That illusion of inevitability, created through positioning and timing and shot selection that operates at a speed and quality most players never approach, is the rarest thing in tennis. I had it on serve. For my best years, my serve created that feeling. This point is mine before it starts. Roger created it from everywhere, from every position on the court, in every situation, against every style of opponent. That universality of dominance is what separates him. 20 Grand Slams, 310 weeks at world number 1. Wimbledon 8 times. Numbers that exist in a category that I have to acknowledge, even as someone who competed hard to build numbers of my own. Roger Federer was the finest tennis player I ever watched, the finest I ever faced in the limited opportunities our careers overlapping gave us. And acknowledging that, clearly, directly, without qualification, is something I can do now that the competitive part is finished. He was simply the greatest. 5 players, 5 completely different versions of difficulty. Agassi took away my serve. Edberg showed me the complete game. Becker showed me what heart looks like. Lendl showed me what preparation looks like. Federer showed me what greatness looks like when it has no ceiling. I spent my career trying to be the best. Against these 5, in different ways, on different days, across different stages of my career, I discovered what best actually means when you're standing across the net from it. It means you earn it every single time, or you find out you didn't. These 5 made me earn it every single time.